This week, Young Voices members from around the world came together in Nairobi to celebrate some of the successes they've had this year. Here are just some of the highlights.
We are Young Voices campaigners attending Global Meeting 2020 in Nairobi, Kenya.
We want to know more about a man in Guyana, who the details you are going to get from somebody who has better knowledge about him. Briefly, tell us about who Norris is.
Okay, Norris is just a young man living in Guyana on the east bank of Demerara. And Norris has been living with his disability for quite a number of years now. And he is just a cool individual you would like to know. He's very much interested in a lot of sporting activities and so on.
What is the nature of the disability of Norris?
His disability is called cerebral palsy.
What does he do for a living?
Norris is a graphic designer, so he basically does that for a living.
Exactly. How did he acquire the skills of graphic design?
Nice. He attended a school called the Open Door Center for Persons with Disabilities in 2002, I think it was, where he did information technology. So he acquired his skill by attending that school for 2 years.
What impact has this graphic design created in the life of Norris?
It has created a serious impact on Norris Cummins because previously Norris did not, he was really struggling to acquire any sort of finance of his own. So now he's able to generate his own income. So he's now mining himself.
What lesson can we learn from this experience as members of Young Voices?
What persons can learn from this picture with Norris Cummins that it doesn't matter what disability you have, it doesn't mean that you're disabled completely. You have some ability in you, just that you have to search for that, and that's what Norris has done here. Work with his feet to do graphic designing, cards, business cards, birthday cards, and so on.
Exactly. What final message do you have for other fellow members of Young Voices across the world who may be desperate with what they should be doing for themselves?
I want to encourage them to push beyond what they think they can do and tell yourself that there is no limit. Not even the sky, you can go beyond the skies.
Thank you so much.
What about in Swaziland in terms of economically? How are you advocating for people with disabilities to be considered in terms of economic opportunities in Swaziland?
Okay, in Swaziland we have tried to advocate a lot about economical issues. So now we have made a policy which is for the disability policy, which has sections which talks about economical planning for people who are living with disability. So in future, we think they will get grants, disability grants, so that life it could be easy for them. And they are also included in some of the funds that are there, the youth funds and all the stuff. They are included. So we think in the future it will be good.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am with Isabella Kila from Papua New Guinea. Today we're gonna hear from our statement coming from her, which is a reality, which happened really in her country. So, good day, Miss Isabella.
Good day.
Can you tell us about your story?
Okay, my story will
Face the camera, please.
be specifically based on education, since it is one of the most important things barriers that we face today as youths. Okay, before in our country, education was one of the biggest issue that we faced before, because the mainstream schools, they were not allowed, or they avoided accepting PWDs because of their disabilities, that the mainstream school teachers couldn't cope up with them because they didn't know exactly what their needs were and what sort of materials that were or are to be used in order to educate them. So to us in PNG, education was very tough. So people, the PWDs lived in houses and in hidden places where they were not allowed to, or they avoided themselves coming out, exposing themselves to for people to see them, and they also avoided going for education because of what the teachers sometimes discouraged them because they told them that they were not capable of dealing with the mainstream school students. That is why before in our country education was the biggest barrier. But as soon as the young voices came into Papua New Guinea, it sort of we collected in 2012. We collected um, PWDs from different areas to come together to meet together every once in a month to discuss what we really want. Since we are young people living with disabilities, we need education. So we said that education was the main problem that we have today. So because of that, we started going to mainstream schools, telling them that we are all equal and that we all need equal education, we all need equal attention for our lives. So we started campaigning, doing awareness. We sometimes do role plays for the students to understand better. Because I'm talking about education because I just finished graduating. So education is very important. I see that. And because of our role plays, our PowerPoint presentations, schools have started to open up their doors for PWDs to enter so that we all may have equal knowledge, equal attention with the rest of the so-called able bodies. That is one of the greatest achievements that we have achieved so far in PNG. So hopefully in the future we will see more PWDs entering mainstream schools. That will be the most happiest hour or day or year in our. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, that is Miss Isabella Kila from Papua New Guinea. There, we're gonna interview a person with disability coming from Kenya. So watch out for that scene.
Okay, young voices in Kenya have different ways of solving their challenges. For instance, the issue of accessibility, we think the most important thing is to include lawmakers because when they are developing the laws and policies, when they are being enacted, they are the people who will help us to solve these issues. So that is what we've done.
I'm here with my friend Sarati from Uganda. I'm going to interview him about the success in their country. So can you tell us who is this person who has just received the machine in your country?
She's called Harriet.
What is the nature of his disability?
She's physically handicapped.
What is his occupation?
She's a tailor.
Where has he played trained?
Pardon?
Where has
she got some tailoring skills from an institution around Nansana town.
Who donated the tailoring machine?
This tailoring machine was donated to her by Lillian Foundation and the Kasalima Teacher Home. That's a result of networking and lobbying from them. And that is after informing them about her challenge that she faces outside there as far as her skills are concerned of tailoring.
Look for appropriate skills to earn a living.
Just give it time, it will start.
Okay, by this time, we're gonna hear some statements coming from a girl who lives in the host country for this Young Voices Global meeting. Her name was Nicole Mbala, and she was 19 years of age from Nairobi City, Kenya. Her disability was a physical type of disability. So, hello, Miss Nicole.
Hello.
Can you tell us your story, please?
I'm not gonna tell my story basically. I'm gonna tell the achievements that we
Okay,
made as
okay.
Kenya.
It would be better.
Yeah, one of the achievements that we made was when Arusha, the deaf girl, Michelle, went to a competition, a modeling competition in Nairobi at a local college, and she was able to win the crown and is going to be representing us in the UK. And also we did have a campaign where me and some other Young Voices members that joined to talk to the media and inform people about disability and the challenges that we face and the achievements that we've made and what we want people to think about us and what we want to be improved in our country so that every disabled person can have a chance in living a normal life instead of just thinking of themselves as disabled.
So that is her or their achievement in Kenya, in the country of Kenya. Actually, there are lots of achievements which persons with disabilities have achieved. So let not your disability hinder you in achieving something that could you be proud of.